the most important news item has been this dispute between Sanders and Warren over a meeting they had in December 2018. And on Monday, CNN reported reported and also put a breathless new spin on this meeting, which had been covered at the time by the New York Times and other outlets, that Sanders had said that a woman can't win
the presidency.
And Sanders categorically denied saying this, and Warren didn't say anything.
Yeah, whole camp, the team for a while kind of dodged this.
Yeah. And then after a couple of days, did in fact confirm the, that was, her recollection of events. And so this came up in the debate. And the CNN moderators, they framed it in a classic, when did you stop beating your wife type of frame. First, they asked Sanders, why did you say that? And he said,
I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't say that. Look, I've been saying for 30 years that a woman can and should be president. I asked Elizabeth herself to run in 2015. Hillary Clinton got more votes. I'll support any woman if they happen to win this primary.
30 years ago, there's a YouTube video of me saying that women can win the presidency. 30 years ago.
More than 30 years ago.
More than 30 years ago. Right?
Yeah.
In 1988, right?
Yeah, that's right. That was kind of another funny moment in the debate when Warren said that she was the only one who defeated a Republican
in the last 30 years.
And in fact, I went back and did the math on this, and Sanders had defeated his Republican incumbent from a seat that the Republicans had held for over 100 years in November of 1990. And so that is because it's not November 2020 yet. It's 29 years and 2 months and 9 days at the time the debate was happening. And
so that was a lie. It was a lie.
Well,
another retort that was pretty good is he unseated a Republican when she still was a Republican, which factually true.
That's true. I think her politics at that point were pretty wishy-washy. She was kind of coming around in many ways, but it was. That's a sort of a nitpick. Like I think it is pretty impressive for a socialist to defeat an incumbent Republican that's held the seat for that long. But also, on the other hand, Elizabeth Warren has only run for office twice, in 2012 and then for re-election last year, in a very blue state. And that's really not,
her margins weren't tremendous either. Let's just say.
Beating Scott Brown in Massachusetts, which Barack Obama won by 27 percentage points in 2012, is really not the great. And in fact, I think she did worse than him in the vote totals.
So we'll circle back to that petty, picayune, also incorrect argument that because even if it was correct, Warren was basically arguing that your victory doesn't count because it's,
Yeah. Amy Klobuchar has a decent argument. Even though Minnesota is also a blue state, it's not as blue as Massachusetts, and she has a longer record of harder victories. But Elizabeth Warren, come on.
No, this was part and parcel of a clear attack on Bernie and his campaign in order to separate herself in some way and kind of revive a lagging campaign. So let's go back to the real kind of nasty stuff.
Back to the debate. Then the moderator turns to Warren and just completely takes Warren's side. When it was Abby Phillip, and she said basically, when Sanders said that to you,
how did you feel?
How did you feel?
Right. Which immediately followed from a complete 100% denial that did not happen.
Yeah. And as any kind of neutral journalist, there are no facts you can turn to. There's no recording. There's no stenographer. Nobody else was present in the meeting. It's his word against hers.
And in the post debate, did you see in the post debate commentary, one of the commentators, who turns out was a former Hillary person, I think the communications, if not the director, one of the comms people for the Hillary campaign, said, this is not just he said, she said. This was a CNN report with sources. And even Anderson Cooper had to say, well, to be fair, it is exactly he said, she said, because there was no one else in the room. And basically, those sources are just people she had told her side of the story to.
Yeah.
But then on Twitter, some other journalist says, routinely, we journalists take as evidence somebody telling a consistent story to multiple sources.
Right. And, that's okay. Fair enough. But it's still the same evidence. And it's no more reliable than Bernie giving his side.
Right.
He could do the exact same thing, talk to a bunch of different people and then tell them to go to the press. And like, oh, look, now it's like, come on. It's no less than Joe Scarborough and Micah Brzezinski were like genuinely outraged at this, saying like, what? Come on. You can't take sides in this type of dispute. You have to get his side and then her side.
Especially when, if you're going to be, the jury on this, rather than let the American people be the jury to decide on this, you're weighing in on something that just is illogical for Bernie to have said, given the fact that he supported and tried to get her to run instead of him last time. And then she didn't do it, right? And like his record as a socialist and all the evidence would support, oh, maybe we should probably believe that he wouldn't say that, or there was at least a misunderstanding.
Yeah, I mean, it's extraordinarily out of character. Like Joe Biden would say something like that, and in fact has implied it.
Because he is actually a misogynist.
Well, I mean...
Unless you think that liking women is all the touching he's doing with them. That's not the same thing as really loving women. That's not what we mean by being a feminist.
That's the end of the preview, folks. If you want to hear the whole episode, you can go to patreon.com/leftanchor. Thanks for listening.